Protests in Iran are gaining momentum. For the third straight day, Iranians are out on the streets protesting against soaring inflation, water and power shortages, as chants and anti-government chants also echo across cities in Iran. This comes as Ayatollah Khamenei's regime is reeling from economic sanctions. In a latest development, a government building in the south of Iran was attacked. According to Iranian authorities, the building hosts the office of the Fasa governor. Earlier, Iran's prosecutor general had warned that any attempt to create insecurity would be met with a decisive response. Students are also joining these demonstrations. According to local reports, protests erupted at 7 key universities, including Beheshti, Khaja Nasir, Sharif, Amir Kabir University of Science and Culture, Iran University of Science and Technology, and Isfahan University of Technology. Amid all the chaos, a video has gone viral on social media. The viral footage is being dubbed at Iran's Tiananmen Square moment. It shows an unarmed man sitting on the Jumhuri Street in Tehran facing nearly 20 black-clad police officers on motorcycles. The footage also shows policemen using water cannons to disperse the large swaths of demonstrators gathered in the area. Meanwhile, Reza Pahlavi, the son of Iran's former king, who is in exile, took to X and called upon all Iranians to join the nationwide strikes and protests. He vowed that the street demonstrations have ignited the promise of a national revolution. Pahlavi also called upon the country's diaspora to intensify their activities and outreach to convey the voice of the Iranian people to the world. The Iranian government has seen its first resignation in central bank governor Mohammad Reza Farzin in a partial relief for businesses. The government has decided to drop penalties for delay in paying taxes. Additionally, Iranian President Masoud Pezeshkian has asked his interior minister to have a dialogue with protesters. The Iranian government says it will lend its ear to the problems faced by the people.
The government will listen patiently, even if there are harsh voices, because we believe that our people are patient enough, and when their voices are raised, the pressure that is being put on them is high. The government's job is to hear the voices and help them reach a common understanding to solve the problems that exist in society.
The current protests have spread to other cities such as Isfahan, Shiraz, and Mashhad. It comes at the backdrop of Iranian rial crashing to 1.42 million to $1. A year ago, it stood at 820,000 rials. Also, the inflation rate in December jumped to 42.2%, which is 1.8% higher than back in November. Food prices have risen by 72%, and medical items are up by 50% compared to December of last year. All right, now let's go live to Tehran, Iran, where we are joined by senior journalist Yusuf Jalali, who is tracking the details from Tehran. Yusuf, thank you so much for joining us on WION. What is the state of these demonstrations right now?
Well, of course, the demonstrations and
Okay, it seems like we have lost Yusuf Jalali. We're going to try to get him back on the line and talk more about these widespread demonstrations in Tehran, Iran, which have been ongoing for almost 4 days. Now, looks like Yusuf is back with us. Yusuf, apologies for the technical difficulty. Go ahead.
Of course, I was saying that the demonstrations entered into the 4th day. It began on Sunday following a significant surge in the dollar rate, which was traded at around 1.45 million to the Iranian rial, and this led to frustration with how the Iranian government manages the economic crisis in the country. Of course, this was not the trigger. Of course, we see a lot of a combination of some other crises that have hit the Islamic Republic, including the reinstatement of UN sanctions on the country, and of course some water shortage. If you remember, and the electricity outages that gripped the country for months. This is the combination and the accumulation of all these frustrations and fury over the mismanagement of the Iranian government, the sitting government of Mr. Pezeshkian. The main drive, and the main spark was that real crashed. The Iranian national currency lost a significant value to the U.S. dollar, and it's natural for the Iranians to be angry over this because people here earn in reals and they spend in dollars because the prices of many things in this country is set by the dollar rate, not by the real. Of course, this led to the Iranian real losing value, and that has led to the strained household budgets, of course, and this reduced living standards because following what happened and this significant rise in the dollar rate, we see that the income and the salaries, the monthly salaries have decreased, like around, for now, with this new rate of the dollar against the Iranian real, it means that the average salary in Iran stands at less than $200 a month. $200 a month. So this is why you see these demonstrations going on, and they started by different guild members, including iron and gold traders, and then spread to other guild members, including in other sectors like mobile sellers in Al-Adin in downtown Tehran. That's a significant mall used for trading the mobiles and computers. Of course, now we see students have also joined these demonstrations, and of course, other sectors have joined the strikes, and this is spreading out of control. And we see that there's a heavy presence of security forces, and there have been some clashes between protesters and security forces reported inside Tehran and across the country, including the southern city of Fasa, which of course is a very very small town in southern Tehran. Heavy clashes were reported between the security forces and the Iranian demonstrators there.
And Yusuf, we are hearing and seeing visuals of one government building being attacked. Can you tell us what the situation on the ground is? And also, to the best of my knowledge, it seems that Iranian authorities have offered a widespread shutdown to Tehran province and its surrounding areas. They say it's to conserve energy and it's because of the cold weathers. Has this deteriorated the protesters, or are they still coming out?
They're still coming out, and the gathering and the government building you refer to is that city of Fasa in southern Tehran, where it's a small town where the crowds tried to break into that government building. It's a provincial governor office there, and the security forces clashed with protesters there. And we've been hearing reports, unconfirmed still by the Iranian state broadcaster, that one 14-year-old protester was shot down and killed by security forces there. Of course, the governor of that town, the Fasa governor, of course, declined that such a thing has happened. Of course, we still have to wait and see whether or not this news is accurate. But of course, the government tried to tackle this crisis and these demonstrations by announcing the suspension of government activities, offices, and educational activities across the country until further notice. First, they mentioned that they're going to be suspended and halted until Saturday, and then they said that they're going to be halted and suspended until Sunday. Now, people are speculating the reason behind this move by the Iranian government. The government announced that these suspensions come as Iran is facing like severe cold weather, and of course to preserve energy and save energy. That has been the Iranian government's claim, but the people are speculating about this, saying that the government tries to quell the protests and tries to reduce and curb the gatherings. But of course, this has not deteriorated, and this has not slowed down the wave of the demonstrations, and we see people continue to join this strike. the traders and the businessmen and different businesses continue to shut down across the country to join the strikes, and of course the protests in the surrounding streets and alleys around the Grand Bazaar in downtown Tehran, which is the beating heart of the Iranian economy. If this continues to take place, the government will have to sit down with those protesters and try to solve it and settle it before it's too late, because the Grand Bazaar in downtown Tehran is the beating heart of the Iranian economy. In different sectors rely on purchasing some like spare parts, auto spare parts, even clothing, and everything boils down to this Grand Bazaar. So these tradesmen are trying to use their power as the controllers, or as the controllers, the people who control the Iranian economy in different sectors, to try to force the government into taking an action, immediate action, and bring and stabilize the Iranian national currency, and of course to control and curb the rising unchecked inflation in the Islamic Republic of Iran.
Youssef Jadali, senior journalist, joining us live from Tehran. Youssef, thank you so much for being our eyes and ears on the ground there in Tehran and providing us some context about the footages that we're seeing online, the news that we're reading online, and nothing compares to talking to someone who's on the ground there, who's actually witnessing and experiencing all of this. Stay safe, and thank you for joining us.